Happy Thursday, everyone. Meteorologist John Homenuk with Empire Weather here with your agriculture morning briefing. Frontal boundary still draped across the Central Plains eastward into parts of the Tennessee Valley this morning. You can see the activity associated with this front. Clouds and showers here across parts of the Central Plains, draped eastward into parts of Tennessee, Kentucky, and of course eastward into the Appalachians as well. It is drier and a beautiful morning across the northern plains, and this will be the focus for activity over the next several days, really. We go to check out the short-term models here. Here's the latest. We did have some scattered showers and storms overnight move through parts of Iowa. We mentioned over the last couple of days how important Iowa is with those drier trends. They've missed out on some of the storms here over the last several days and weeks. So some scattered rains, obviously not enough, but we'll take it at this point. We also have widespread showers and storms going on in parts of Nebraska and northwestern Kansas this morning. These storms are expected to move eastward, eventually making their way into parts of Missouri and weakening, and then re-strengthening later today across parts of eastern Missouri into Kentucky, southern Illinois, and perhaps parts of Tennessee. We will eventually also see the regeneration of showers and storms across eastern Colorado. These will move back into parts of Kansas, and this frontal boundary is going to remain that focus of precipitation here over the next couple of days. This is taking us now to Friday morning. You can see these storms just kind of continuing to regenerate on that front. For that reason, models are continuing to show this band of heavy precipitation, 1 to 2, possibly 3 inches of rainfall. Obviously, this will be a little bit smoothed out. This is an ensemble mean, so not everyone's going to see rain, and the rains won't be this widespread. But if you're in this general corridor here, essentially from eastern Colorado and the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles into Kansas, down into northeast Oklahoma, southern Missouri, northern Arkansas, and of course eastward into parts of Kentucky, Tennessee, and far southern Illinois and Indiana, this is where we're looking at the potential for heavy rainfall here over the next couple of days. This taking us through the weekend, where the models are showing that regeneration of storm activity. Let's take a look at that. Here's the models from Thursday into Friday. You can see the bands of rain here on Friday morning. We actually regenerate that front Friday into Saturday. Could be looking at the potential for some flooding actually in parts of Kansas with this stationary band of rain just getting moisture pumped into it from the south. And then by the time we move into Saturday, it finally starts to shift gradually to the east, but still hanging out here in parts of southern Missouri and the Kentucky and Ohio River valleys here. Just this frontal boundary and this moisture just really hanging out there is going to be the focus for rainfall. We'll watch a potential disturbance dropping in from the northern plains late this weekend. Lots of model uncertainty regarding this, but maybe some beneficial rains for parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin as well as Iowa as that front drops down and sort of kicks this front out of the way. And then we'll start to dry out as we move into the extended range. So let's take a look at the model pattern here very quickly. We mentioned that ridge is coming back, and you can see that by the time we move into the middle of next week, that ridge is indeed back and centered across the central United States. Here are your temperature anomalies. You can see that cool air we've been dealing with is a distant memory by the time we get to the middle and latter part of next week. Widespread warmth across the central United States, and that largely is expected to last into the weekend and possibly as far as the 10th of August here across the central U.S. But models are showing a bit of a change now as we move into the middle part of August. Here's your ridge initially that develops through about the first week of the month. This is ending on the 7th. And look, as we get past the weekend, that ridge that initially was centered here in the Ohio Valley is starting to back itself up again towards the Four Corners. So by the time we get to the 11th and 12th of the month, that ridge is back in the Four Corners region. That would reintroduce the chance for some storm clusters again, and you're seeing that start to appear on some of the models. We do have this drier risk here initially. This takes us through about the 8th of August. Here's your drier risk. But then the model starts to pick up on that and says, hey, actually, these storm clusters are going to start to shift south when that ridge shifts west. And you can see that here. This would be your storm track coming over the top here. And that's kind of going to be the focus here over the next couple of days is what happens as we move into the middle part of August. Taken verbatim, even if we look at 24-hour precipitation totals after this dry period here, the models start to reintroduce those clusters, and you can see them forming and moving down here through the upper Midwest into the Great Lakes, and that would be the change that we need to keep an eye on here over the next couple of days. But before that, in the first 7 to 10 days of August, it looks quite hot. This is a very big ridge, and it's going to be drier than normal as well. As we move towards mid-month, we'll watch that ridge retrograde back to the west, and we'll watch the possibility of additional storm clusters moving into the forecast here for key areas that especially will need it after a warm and dry period. We will have a lot more for you coming today, including a full agriculture report and another long-range briefing. For now, have a wonderful morning. We'll talk to you guys very soon. Take care.